because weather can have an impact on your well-being, on your mood. Large cities are linked with other cities and suburbs. Look up the full metro population, not just a signed. One for the landlord, and one for your records. You'll usually need to give them this 60 days before your lease is up to legally end your lease. Set up your change of address with the post you'll need to contact your insurance company to set up a policy in your new state and request an ID card. Just don't cancel your previous policy until you review if that state requires that your license plates be returned or canceled. As soon as you cancel your old policy, that state's DMV is going to be notified, and they will fine you if you canceled your insurance even one day before you canceled your plate. If your car is leased or financed, you may need to get a copy of that title in order to register your vehicle. It can vary state to state, but I've had to do that a few times, so I call them around a week before I move to request it, because sometimes it can take up to 4 weeks to receive. Change your address with your bank and all services you use, like your phone provider, streaming services, or subscriptions. Wait a few weeks to change your phone number if that's something you want to do, in case there's any last minute calls from previous companies, or at